Hi everyone, welcome to this video of first impressions of the 8K Plus from the Chinese company Pimax. First of all, I want to thank you all for following me. We are reaching 500 subscribers. 500 people is start to make a small crowd, and if I had to buy you all a drink, I would be very annoyed, but cheers anyway. But recently, it's better to do this by video, so be careful with this damn virus and stay at home to do VR and watch YouTube as much as possible. I released this video with a month delay and I'm really sorry, but I'm going through a difficult personal phase. To give you an idea, I have just spent almost 20 days without internet following moving into a new house, and this was just a pain, but was actually the easiest part. I made those tests on a i7 7700 at 4.2 GHz with 16 GB of RAM and a GeForce 1080 Ti Founder Edition, equipped with a Logitech Driving Force GT steering wheel and a Saitek X52. To start, let's see together the specifics of this headset. Equipped with two LCD panels of 3840 by 2160, capable for now because 110 being scheduled, of reaching 90 Hz and two Fresnel type lenses, the field of view in diagonal reach 200 degrees, about 170 in horizontal, which fit to almost the entire field of view of a human being. The vertical field of view is also almost maximum. Provided with a physical interpupillary distance adjustment from 55 to 75 mm, it is possible to software increase these values by PyTool. It also comes with a jack plug for connecting headphones and includes a very good microphone. The connection on the PC is done by a DP port and a USB port. Also on the headset, two USB-C ports to accommodate the various accessories, like the hand tracking module and the eye tracking module. Compatible obviously with all Pimax accessories such as the modular and deluxe audio strap, as well as the comfort kit which is supplied with it. Benefiting of the tracking of SteamVR using Lighthouse, it is compatible with version 1 and 2 of this. Like all Pimax, it incorporates a gyroscope and an accelerometer which allow to use it without any external accessories in 3D off, 3 degrees of freedom mode. The graphic card recommended for this headset is a 2060 RTX, and we will see later that it is to my great regret actually the case. So let's go. But before I start, I will tell you about the SDA, the screen door effect, grid effect, space between pixels, which is the first thing that jumps out at you. Or rather, it's near absence, and I think most people will not see it. You can see it by looking for it really well, but if you don't have a good eyesight, you won't see it. So very good point I start when putting on the headset, the SDA. To start, Project Card 2. With the basic settings of PyTool in rendering quality in 1.0 and SteamVR super sampling 100%, the image is either very disappointing. The frame rate exceeds 45 frames per second, which allows smart smoothing to activate and benefits from 90 frames per second in order to stick to 90 Hz. But unfortunately, it is not that pretty. The aliasing is really too present, and it is therefore necessary to raise the settings, whether the rendering of PyTool or super sampling. And with my poor 1080 Ti, it hurts. In order to have the best image without aliasing, I have to raise the super sampling at 200% or PyTool at 1.5, and I do not exceed 35 frames per second. Knowing that the game is not at all at the most graphic settings, but to the best compromise. 35 frames per second do not even allow me to use smart smoothing in 72 Hz. And anyway, I find 72 Hz too low for this kind of game. So in matter of image, it is very nice, but unusable with my 1080 Ti. Note that without smart smoothing and basic setting, the game runs at 60 frames per second. I leave now Project Cars 2 and go to Assetto Corsa. And the same observation. With PyTool at 1.0 and Steam Super Sampling at 100%, smart smoothing is activated, but the image is aliased. So I go to 200% in Super Sampling, and despite that usually Assetto Corsa runs well, it's the same once again, and the game struggles to reach 35 frames per second when the image is satisfying. And it was unfortunately the same story on all the games tested. Dirt Rally 1 is doing better than the others thanks to its rather old graphics engine. But Dirt 2 Elite Dangerous, IL2 Sturmovik, and of course Digital Combat Simulator. The observation was always the same. So I shortened my test session to continue a test of real or virtual. Nothing new in the field of view with a horizontal field of around 170 degrees, but surprise at the level of readability of the text, which is below my expectation and does not even exceed the artisan. Regarding the colors with the PyTool settings displayed on the screen, the colors did not seem to me to suffer from any major default, and the black level is all that is most normal for LCD. No deep black, but acceptable. It depends, of course, on the environment. To finish, a little tour on big screen, and this is where the 8K Plus impressed me the most. Because of its very discreet SDA, it is by far the most pleasant to watch a movie without having the feeling of losing details. The sharpness of the image and the grade given reminds me of the rendering of a theater, and it is really the best to watch a movie.
I like this one.
Reading text is of course quite pleasant and does not pose any concerns, although the text is softened by the upscaler. Here we are for this round of the 8K Plus, and to finish I would say that with the graphic cards in my possession I prefer the Artisan, which allow me to run at 120 Hz and benefits from a certain sharpness thanks to its native image devoid of upscaler, and this despite its SDA, which I found impressive but which clearly does not make the weight against the 8K Plus. If you therefore have a big graphic card, at least a 2060 RTX, I recommend you that to wait for the 8KX, which will have the same functionality in upscaled mode. And to be clear, the image in the 8K Plus is beautiful, but too GPU demanding for my poor graphic card. As you can see in these captures through the length with 100% and 200% in SteamVR Super Sampling. Therefore, if you are in a hurry to invest in a VR headset, I recommend you the Artisan, which is cheaper and run more easily. Being sensitive to the ADA, I could advise you to go for the 8K Plus facing the Artisan, but the 120Hz wins for me. If the refresh rate is what is the most important to you, then you must turn to the Artisan again, because even the 8KX in upscaled mode will only reach 90 Hz, unless later update which should allow to reach 110 Hz. So, and soon 90 Hz will be an outdated functionality. Of course, 80 or 90 or even 75 Hz can be enough to play most games, but not in the best comfort or to enjoy the best sensation. But the higher the refresh rate is, the less you will be subject to motion sickness and headache. Also, let's keep in mind this announced update which should allow 110 Hz, hoping that it is in the maximum field of view, of course. It is therefore an end of test on which I am mixed with the 8K Plus, which happens to be much more greedy than expected. The signal being the same as on 8K, I expected similar performances, which is the case with equal adjustment, but the rendering of the old 8K softened the lines much more, which is not the case with the 8K Plus, with identical setting, and therefore require increasing the supersampling or Pi tool rendering, and I am therefore not able to appreciate all of its capabilities, making it a headset aimed at a restricted part of the community VR addict, and most people, according to Steam stats, own a 1060 GTX. If the price is an important aspect for you, I still recommend the Artisan, because yes, it's still an important aspect to take into consideration when purchasing equipment. The 8K Plus is priced at $899 at the last price displayed on the Pimax website. As I say since December, Pimax should stick to 8KX and Artisan for its catalog, with possibly the 5K Super, which promises a very high refresh rate, but its price remains to be seen. And yes, I am a fan of the Artisan, but it has everything to participate in democratizing VR, which will be good for all of us. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. I also inform you of the opening of a Patreon and YouTube page, which links are in description if you wish to support me by supporting the channel and allow its development. I wish you an excellent VR, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. It was Edix. Bye.